session 5 of faith. Today I'm going to look in more detail at a story, and this story comes in Matthew 14, 22 to 33. And it's the story of Jesus having just fed 5,000 people, or 5,000 plus people, on 5 loaves and 2 fish. And then he said to his disciples, now you row across the lake, I'm going up the mountain to pray. And so they went, and they started rowing, and a storm blew up. And in the early hours of the morning, Jesus came to them, but he was walking on the water. And they were terrified. They thought it was a ghost. And Jesus had to say, no, it's okay. It is I. Peter's response to this was great. He said, look, if that's you, Lord, I can do what you're doing if you call me. And so Jesus said, okay, come. And that's what he did. He stepped out of the boat and he started walking across the water towards Jesus. It's a great picture in itself. Peter had the confidence that he could do what Jesus was doing. His direction was to walk towards Jesus, and that's a picture of real faith. He believed he could do the impossible if Jesus called him to do it, and if he kept his eyes on Jesus. Jesus didn't take his hand and guide him out of the boat. Peter had to step out himself. It's a picture there, I guess there's always a gap between us and Jesus. We haven't reached the perfection or the perfect state of being like Jesus in our journey. We are to become more and more like him. In that way we should always be walking towards him. But Peter then took his eyes off Jesus and looked at the storm, and that's when he began to sink. He certainly did the right thing in crying out to Jesus for help, and Jesus grabbed him and picked him up and put him back in the boat. Then Jesus said to him, why did you doubt? See, he'd begun in faith, and then the doubt crept in. And it's a picture of life for us. We can start on something in great faith, but then if our circumstances are difficult, a bit overwhelming, it's very easy to begin to focus on them and lose our focus on Jesus. When we do this, what we're really saying is, this is just too big for me, and it's too big for you too, Jesus. At this point, of course, we lose faith. We lose faith in Jesus and we begin to try solving things in our own strength. Peter at least realised that his only answer was to cry out for help. And of course, when we do cry out for help, Jesus is always there. At the end of the story, Jesus got into the boat, and it says the storm died down. To have Jesus firmly in our boat enables us to weather the storm, whether we're sailing over it or whether we have to walk over the top of the waves. But we can only do that by trusting in Jesus. God created the world out of chaos, and to the Jewish people, the sea always represented chaos. And so in this picture, the creator of the world is walking over the top of chaos, and he's calling us to walk over the top of it with him.
You'll never